It was often said that a strange kind of magic ran in the waters of Rancho Los Ojuelos, the kind that made the Spanish explorer Cabeza de Vaca go mad, the kind that made mustangs swift and the land rich. Nena knew, even as a child, that magic was a turn of phrase, a way that adults talked about bounty and blessings, with reverence and perhaps a bit of fear. For when you had much, you never knew how much of it could be lost. She and Néstor were 13 that year. She knew that magic, in as many words, was not real. But as summer's heat stretched thin and reached into fall, there was something she sensed whenever she set her palms to the soil of the herb garden behind La Casa Mayor, or turned her face to the twilight-bruised sky. A strangeness, a ripple of unease, an understanding, though timid at first, that perhaps there was some truth to the stories of blood-hungry beasts and river ghosts that the abuelas on the rancho spun to keep children close to home after sunset. A sense that there was a reason to watch one's back when shadows grew long. Perhaps magic was the wrong word altogether, for what Nena and Néstor found that night was monstrous. For the second time that week, Nena slipped out from under her blankets, stone floor cool beneath her bare feet. She had waited for hours, sleepless, her mind racing as she counted the heavy breaths of her younger sister and cousins. At last it was time. The moon hung full outside the bedroom's single window, heavy as a bag of coins. By its light, she snatched an already dirty dress and slipped it over her head. It had a muddied hem. The plans she and Néstor had would make it dirtier still. He would already be waiting for her by the anacahuita trees, a shovel in hand, ready to dig, ready to test the last of the fireside stories that they still believed. Of all of Néstor's abuela's stories, the tale of the Spanish count's buried silver paled in comparison to that of El Cuco, cloaked and carrying a child's severed head in the crook of his arm. When the children of the rancho settled around abuela's feet in a crescent of devout supplicants, they begged for La Llorona's wails, or the long talons of La Lechuza, not the tale of a well-heeled Spaniard perishing of exhaustion in the chaparral. Nena no longer feared boogeymen or ghosts snatching at her plates when rain lashed the rancho and lightning fractured the broad black sky. In the last year, Texas had been ripped out of Mexico, leaving a gaping wound in its wake. She had learned that there were real monsters to be mindful of now. Which was why the tale of buried silver beckoned her. Its promise was a coin with two gleaming sides. The first, protection for the rancho at a time when its safety hung in the balance. The second, a life of her choosing. After the events of the last week, she knew she would not be at ease until she had both, until she felt certainty about her future as firmly as cold metal in the palm of her hand.